Hello everybody, Zeidoktor here, and this episode of Typical Manga Review is centered on My Hero Academia, chapter 148, The Sorrows of Young Twoga, or Twoga. The exact spelling and use is different. I'm going to use the Viz version from last week. Anyway, we pick up where we left off last time. Deku is looking to Aizawa, Lock and Lobe is down, and he Eraserhead is thinking to himself that he was hoping that this would be a pretty straightforward operation, but they got careless and it didn't occur to him Shigaraki had it in him to side with someone lower than him. Meanwhile, Deku is thinking about the maneuverability, the transformation, and connecting the dots between Toga and Kami from the exam. Elsewhere, Twice is like, I was wondering what kind of heroes be coming my way, damn it! Aren't you a bunch of salarymen looking down on the Yakuza, you bastards? Do your thing, Rappa's brother. It's possible translation here, I'll get into it later. But he has the Rappa clone attack Night Eye. Night Eye just drops and leg sweeps him. And Rappa's attempted attack only just grazes him, but it's enough to make Night Eye note he's a strong one. And then Rappa is sent flying forward. Twice is like, what? Even the cop's like, what just happened? It's a combat support item, a hyper-mass seal. It's a seal that weighs about 5 kilograms, like seals in the stamps that he was fighting Deku for earlier. Foreshadowing! Quite a funny item for someone with a salaryman-like appearance, no? Okay, I didn't realize that was him playing to his theme. Okay, good one, Night Eye. Once a prediction has been made, make the first move. Knowing the future of a number of people, I say as far as close combat is concerned, I'm a little vast. But I must say I failed to see this coming. The peerless league of villains consorting with a bunch of Yakuza. And we see that the Gray's attack so took off the front of his salaryman jacket. And he's got more seals ready to go. The cops are noting Rappa melt. And Twice just thinks they're useless. More hypermass seals fly out and rip off a chunk of Twice's mask, which sends him fleeing. The wall closed behind him, hey, you were a little fast on that wall. If I had been just a bit later, I've been crusted at you, dumbass Yakuza. I'm cooperating with you, so I'm gonna need you to do your best too. Look, because of you, my mask. No, this is bad. I'm gonna split. Yeah, I'm gonna break apart. No, you won't. I've got to cover it up or else I'll split. At which point, someone wraps a handkerchief over the exposed side of his head. You mean you were just one when you were covered up? At which point, then it sees a Toga. He's actually covering up for Twice's face. We're doing our best to cooperate with them too. Those Yakuza are mean, aren't they? Let's go out, Toga-chan. You're a devil. You're not watching all this. What is up with these crazy brats? Alright, now there's some issues with the translation here, so I'll probably I intend to go over this a little more closely with the English version, official. And there's nothing on Jaimini's box. We've got Manga Stream, which compounds the issue. I'm going to do the best I can. And Toga's it hurts, doesn't it? Even though you're the one who feels the greatest responsibility for getting Magane killed. In spite of that, you're doing your best, just like you made up your mind to. You're cooperating with them. It hurts, right, Jin? Be my wife. You're not just this. If the person you're cooperating with is useless, you won't be rewarded in the end, right? And then we're getting a little flashback here. Hang on. Everyone's talking we're teaming up with Saikai? How many times are you going to make me repeat myself? The plan they have is plenty promising. Toga and Twice. Starting today, the two of you are Yakuza. Since you have an idea of a joke, I'm not laughing, Shigaraki. They almost got Kurogiri too, but I was able to hold my ground. Well, in actuality, he is who he is, but right now he's sitting about it. Oh, that's... I missed a poo-soo here. They almost got Kurogiri. They almost got Kurogiri too, but I was able to hold my ground. Well, in actuality, he is who he is, but right now he's sitting about a very important matter. As for your next movements, there's an underground route that you'll... What do you mean promising? Have you got a staying later? That mask-wearing bastard get to you. Don't forget, that guy killed Magane. He took off Mr. Compress's arm, too. And one thing I wouldn't have noticed is that apparently, like, Mr. Compress changed his mask right here. Like, it was my carelessness that brought him to us in the first place. I'm a human too, you know, Shigaraki. And we see him, like, yank off his mask, and he's looking, like, miserable. And Toga, say something. What are we to you, Tomura? Like, oh, this is, what are we to you, Tomura-kun? To me, the League is all about feeling good. It all started with Stain in order to make this world a little bit easier to live in the way I want to. If there's any way for me to do that, then I'd like to try. Tomura, can you tell me? And at which point, he pulls a knife on him. Why do I have to do such a painful, unpleasant thing? Of course, Shigaraki, unfazed, he just pulls off his face palms like, well, you see, for my sake, and all of yours. You see, they're looking to hamper the mobility of the League. And I'm sure they'd like to win you over, seeing you all as useful to their cause. They want to pull you in from the inside and subjugate you. From the very beginning, they haven't viewed us as equals. Twice, I told you to take responsibility for your actions, didn't I? Well, this is how you do it. I believe in you too. Now we see Twice, and I was like, Shigaraki, I still don't understand what you're thinking at the time, but you said you believed in us. And if that's the case, then for the sake of me being who I am, thinking what I still think, it's because you're like this that the Yakuza are on the brink of extinction, you know. Well, I'm sure that bedridden boss of his must have been pretty useless, right? Toga, it's like, they're just pissing off like Irinaka, and it works because like he just starts throwing everyone back together again. And I'm not sure if this is Twice or Toga, but I'm just going to do the things the way I want. Those who I can't stand, I'll destroy. Irinaka's brother loses his cool pretty easily, huh? I'm sure if I asked, I'd just be turned down, and if that's the case, then just for now, I'm going to have you all play nice with me, heroes. Like I said, again, I'm not sure who's doing these thoughts here, but anyway, we have Irinaka screaming, crush them all to death! But I think, and that's where the chapter ends. And there are some details here that are hard to follow, and the translation doesn't always help. One, first of all, I'm going to get into the whole brother thing. Rappa's brother, Irinaka's brother. I'm pretty sure that the translator who did this was taking the thing, no Aniki, too literally. Like, Rappa no Aniki, or Irinaka no Aniki, which basically is, it does mean brother, but in Yakuza settings, it's usually used in the same way we would think of, associate with senpai or onichan. Like, it's a term of both rank and endearment. And respect. So I think that's that. First of all, in this ending sequence, I don't know if it's Toga thinking, Twice thinking, or it's sort of like that instance with Yoarashi and Todoroki, where they're both kind of going at the same time. Or at least that's where I thought that was the case. Given the focus on Deku in the last page, I do wonder if it's meant to be Toga. But who knows? Either way, it's kind of fun to note that Shigaraki basically just sent Twice and Toga in there to screw with everybody. Also, one thing I didn't notice before is apparently Compress is getting fitted for a prosthetic arm. There's a couple guys there I don't know if I recognize offhand. I think those might just be the lizard guy and Dabi, though. You know, Twice is a interesting guy. Like, it's kind of like he goes kind of crazy, like because of everything happened to him. He goes kind of crazy about the whole thing with when he loses his mask. So it's actually a good thing that Toga was there for him. I'm just gonna put them up here. This whole thing with Toga is pretty cool. There's like she just wants to do what she wants. So it's like that's why I actually like pulls that knife on him. Like, why should I do something I hate so much? And Shigaraki, like, just like a boss, like, for my sake, do it for me. Let's see here. Now, one thing I noticed with Shigaraki, like, when you see his face, like, are his lips just like mutilated, or is like does he not have any teeth? I can't quite tell. also like the little, what looks like a little bit of chill on Toga as he does all this. Like, what makes me wonder if this is the first time they've actually seen his face. But he paints, but he works them masterfully though. Like he paints a picture of the Yakuza, wanting to win them over, subjugate them, make them theirs, and then tells them like, fuck that, go in there and mess with them. And so with the first chance they get, they do their part, they pretend to cooperate, and then they just start insulting the guy that's pretty much the lifeline for the villains at this point. So, good on them. Not quite sure what's going to happen here, but it seems like we're finally going to get the wall guy mimic dealt with here. Oh, also, Night Eye. Love Night Eye this chapter. Like, his weapon is, like, basically weaponized signature seals. That's his weapon. And he actually notes it because it's a case of humor. He thinks it's funny. Okay, I have to admit, I forgot about his love of humor when I was first reading this the first time. I'm like, okay. It works perfectly for him, and I love it. Okay. So we got an eraser head here. Alright, let's see now. Like I said, not quite sure what we're looking at just yet, but it looks like, I don't know if Toga and Twice will be involved in the next portion of the battle. I imagine Toga will be because he wants to get to Deku, but... Ooh, that reminds me. Deku, he's connecting the dots between Toga and Kami now. Which means, one, they know they have a shapeshifter as an enemy. Two, Deku knows of at least one instance where he very likely infiltrated. It makes you wonder if maybe she actually went to a hero school and that's where she learned some of those techniques she uses. But regardless, there's that. And then, let's see here, trying to think. Oh yeah, and also like, wonder if Deku's aware that she got any of his blood. I mean, it's only a few drops, so I doubt he would have realized. But the fact that she went in there and possibly targeted him does make for that possibility, which might undermine the possibility of her causing trouble later, depending on how public it is, anyway, or who's in the know on this. Still, it might be worth getting the word out that the other school that one of their students was compromised, depending on what happened to her. Wonder if we'll actually find out about that. So definitely have some interesting developments on plot and character, but the actual immediate events are a little bit too up in the air right now. Imagine we'll see some more next week with that. It's looking like next week or maybe a week after. Well, I say next week. This week is one of the deceptively named double issues. I mean, this week Shonen Jump is counted twice in their order, so that they can take a break next week. So there won't actually be any chapters next week, which is a bummer, but what are you going to do? Regardless, like the next chapter, I think we'll probably see the Mimic get beaten, or at least get set up to be beaten. Like, then in the chapter after that, we'll actually have an actual defeat. Hard to say if facing will go one way or the other on this one yet. But I'm going to go ahead and call the review here. So that's going to be, that was My Hero Academia, chapter 148. The Sorrows of Young Twoga. Until next time, see you later, and bye-bye.